Freedomlink Radio on the Orion Talk Radio Network. Don't go away. Welcome back, folks. I mean, I'll tell you what, this is probably one of the best shows that I have done. I didn't even expect this tonight, so this is fantastic. But one of the things that I want to bring up to you guys is, and I saw a brief mention of it in the chat room. The chat room's going so doggone fast that I can hardly even, I can't even keep up with it. But this all goes back to the grand old tactic of divide and conquer. It's been this way for a long time, and it's going to be this way for a long time to come until people pull their heads out of their respective tuchuses and see exactly what it is that's going on. So let's just take, for example, the divide and conquer tactic that's going on with Occupy Wall Street, the police, and everything else. Look at how many different things they divide us on, folks. You know, whether it's you're on the side of the police, you're on the side of government, and these protesters are on the side of the quote-unquote people. And then you have race, and then you have income, and I can go on and on and on, and how many different ways we are divided and we are conquered. And believe me, if you don't think we're conquered, you are sadly mistaken. We're conquered. Totally. Because Mike, there's just not enough critical thinking going on in order to see through the BS.
Well, here's the bottom line, man, and this is something I want to address. I just saw a couple statements in the chat box there. I really want people to start thinking about a couple things. Number one, I want to point out the Psy girl that popped up, and she said that your flag was designed by the West Indies Trading Company. Spot on, sweetheart. 10 points to you for knowing your true history. You're the Gadsden flag that so many people are rallying behind at this point. People don't understand that has its roots in the Brotherhood of the Snake. If you really deeply, intimately understand American history and where we truly came from and the real foundations of this nation, I pose the question to everyone out there within the boundaries of the sound of my voice. Here's my bottom line honest question to you. At what point in time in American history do you feel we should revert to? Because technically, over the 240 some odd years that we have our history in, this nation has been pretty much bathed in disgusting things if you really deeply, intimately understand American history. Okay? Bottom line. You know, our founding fathers, somebody said a little while ago that they weren't religious people. That's true. The statement was said flat out that, the two things that plagued the United States worst was organized churches and politics, that kind of stuff. Pre-1775. But guys, that's a romantic notion, but it's never going to happen. It's a logistical and physical impossibility. You're never, Mike, ever going to go back in time.
Mike, I'm going to go on. Let's just take present day, for example, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just look at what's going on now and remember how it was 10 years ago. Let's just say pre 9/11, right?
Yeah.
It will never go back to those days. Just look at the economy. Guys, because in the next hour we're going to tackle this. And this is kind of interesting. But you had the European sovereign debt crisis going on, right? And then all of a sudden, all the Europeans are singing Kumbaya because the Chinese are coming to the rescue and they're establishing €1 trillion bailout fund that's going to be the saving grace of the euro. So what happens? Well, the Dow Jones Industrial Average goes up 400 points. Then they come out with the GDP up 2.5% and everything else. But what did you see happen to the dollar when that euro thing happened? It took a big, giant crap.
That's right.
And so everybody's like, well, if the euro goes, we're going to go with it. Well, if the euro stays, we're going to go. Don't you understand? It doesn't matter. The dollar is worth 98% less than it was in 1913. 98%. It's got 2% of its value. The dollar is worth 2 cents to what it was in 1913. The American currency, the Federal Reserve, has bankrupted us, and people are going around thinking, oh, yeah, everything's good. We'll be fine. We'll recover from this. BS, man. I saw Ron Paul. He was sitting on Fox News yesterday, and he was sitting with a bunch of pundits, and Juan Rivera or Juan Williams, I can't remember what it is, was one of his was one of the people there, and he had the nerve to say inflation is practically zero. And Ron Paul was like, "What? Have you gone shopping lately? Have you gone to the grocery store? Really? Do you think?" I mean, folks, average schmucks like myself, Mike, and everybody in this chat room knows that inflation is through the freaking roof. Okay,
exactly.
You may not see it in the core inflation index or whatever the hell they call it, where they say, "Oh yes, core inflation rose at 0.3%." Yeah, okay, but then they say, "Oh, but that doesn't take into account clothing, food, fuel, and everything that's important to us." But if you factor that in and you use the old standard, the way that you're supposed to measure inflation, we're at 9% inflation. 9%. That's freaking ludicrous. Go to the store, man. I mean, in the last freaking 2 weeks, I've seen mozzarella cheese go, because I got a paisan for a wife, right? Hey. So here she is. She wants to make some baked ziti, right? And I'm like, all right, that's cool, baby. That's cool. So I go to the store, and what happens? A 3-pound bag of freaking mozzarella cheese, or pardon me, a 2-pound bag goes from $7.27 to $9.27 in a week.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? No, there's inflation zero. Go climb a tree.
It goes so much further than that, man, because the thing is that everybody believes that the myth and the demon of partisan politics still exists somewhere. Guys, exactly. It's freaking WWE, man. Vince McMahon's back there pulling the strings, writing the scripts. These guys come out there, beat the crap out of each other. I will bet you right now that Barack Obama and John McCain have sat down and drank their asses off more times over the last 3 years than anybody could possibly count, laughing all the way at how much of our money they line their damn pockets with. So some people would say, what about the Second Amendment? They're coming after your guns. Let me tell you why they're not going to do that, okay? And if I'm wrong, I'll eat my freaking hat. Let me tell you why they're not going to mess with your guns.
I can't wait to see you do that, dude, by the way.
Okay? I'll tell you what. Here's why they're not going to mess with your guns. Because for the last 3 years, 35.9 million new firearms have sold in the United States alone. Hundreds of millions of rounds of ammunition. They know beyond shadow of doubt that if they dare step over that line, that if they think the insurgency, if they think the stuff that they've seen overseas is bad, wait till they see what happens here when you piss Americans off to the point of violence. Hey, you know what? 10 points to the common American citizen who has not gone apeshit yet, excuse my language, and gone and done something stupid. Every time you see one of these schmucks go out there, oh, there was another shooting in California. There was another shooting in Florida. There was another shooting in Chicago. It's not mainstream America, folks. It's happening in the highly densely populated places that have the most aggressive anti-gun laws there are, and they're doing it on purpose. Media sensationalism is the core definition of terrorism at its finest, because they can attack you psychologically without ever having to fire an actual shot.
Amen to that. And I mean, that's exactly what it is. And folks, the only way that you're going to be able to overcome this is to actually do the research yourself. And again, I talked about this last show, and I'll say it again. All you YouTubers that think you're doing a service to the people for posting these videos or putting out these news pieces without verifying the info to make sure that it's correct, you're not. You're only adding to the problem. You have to do the research. You got to do thorough research. Every time you do that, you take credibility away from people that are trying to do a good job. And that's why it's our duty as Americans to make sure that we get it straight, because the mainstream media certainly isn't going to get it straight. They're going to tell you what they want you to know and they want you to hear, and they're trying to stir the debate. They're trying to steer it one way or the other, and they're being very effective. And I'm sorry, folks. It's up to us. Everybody's going to have to get off their collective asses and actually get to work and do the job. But you're right, Mike. Kudos to every American gun owner out there for not going apeshit.
And that's exactly what they want you to do. That's exactly what they want you to do, ladies and gentlemen. They want you to get pissed. They want you to go out there and do something stupid. They want you to go out there and be...
And they have the infrastructure in place, Mike, for you to do that. They're already prepared for that.
They're facilitating it, man. That's the whole reason, is they keep pumping this stuff into your head. Let me show you another news clip. Oh, your Marine just got shot in the head with a can of tear gas. Get pissed and go out there and kill 10 people as a result of it, because that's what they need you to do. These people hate it the most when you use information, when you use the system against them, when they use their own laws against them. That is the hardest, most violent weapon we have right now, is our own system. Save your weapons, save your ammunition, save your medical supplies, save your prep. Right now, fight with information. Find shows like ours. So you don't have to just listen to us. Joe and I both encourage you guys, go out there and listen to everybody. So what's the use of having a gun? Plain and simple, my friend, because the Second Amendment are the teeth of liberty. The Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, the simple right to keep and bear arms, the simple fact that I have X number of firearms and X number of rounds of ammunition in my house, are the teeth of your liberty. It is the presence of the threat. It is the way we keep them in check. The Second Amendment had all to do with hunting and sporting. It had to do with preserving your liberties and protecting the other 9 amendments. End of file.
Well, in a blink of an eye, hour 1 is over, folks. But we're just getting warmed up. Hour 2 on the way. So stay tuned. You're listening to Freedom Link Radio on the Orion Talk Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Out from the wreckage, can't make the slightest mistake this time.